Alright, what's going on, guys? Well, finally got a little update for you today. Figured I owed y'all one, considering it's only been like half a year since my last one. I just had so much going on, I wasn't able to really do much with the truck. But luckily, this past month, I finally managed to get a little bit done on it. Nothing major, just some small stuff. I really don't have the time and money to do the more major work to it, like body work and rebuilding the front end underneath. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep sticking with the small stuff, and eventually I'll get to the more major portion of it. But as far as progress on it, I guess the only major thing I had to do was I had to replace the power steering pump. It started out, my lines were leaking, so I replaced those and didn't leak a drop for about 2 weeks. And then finally the pump started leaking real bad. I said screw it, went ahead and ordered a new AC Delco pump for it. And while I was at it, I had to go ahead and replace the power steering bracket because it had actually cracked right through here and the pump was just barely hanging on. So I looked around on eBay, found the one and only power steering bracket for an 87. Apparently there is a difference between an 87 and an 86. I think an 86 uses 3 bolts that hold it to the pump. An 87 uses 4. Although I'm pretty sure that it all bolts up to the motor the same, but I didn't want to take no chance, considering the guy wanted almost $60 for it. But it was the only option I had. There's really no good salvage yards that are left anymore. They've either been shut down or converted to recycling centers. So, really can't find any parts for these trucks around here like I used to. Back in the day, man, there was nothing but rows and rows full of these old square body trucks. Not no more. If it's 5 years or older, it's crushed and turned into beer cans. But that was the only major thing I had to actually do to the truck, and so far it's all working good. The 305's still going. Maybe one of these days I might do the whole LS swap, but for the meantime, the old motor still runs good. Everything works. So I'm not too worried about it. As long as it gets me around and I can still enjoy the truck, I don't really care. But it's still going good. Let's see. Got the front end finished out a little bit more. Just got some new bezels for it. I really wanted the chrome ones, but I just really couldn't get myself to spend $100 for the pair. So I went the cheaper route. Got the $30 silver ones, which might work out later on if I decide to go back with a factory style grill. I'm thinking like the 85 through 87 Chevy grill. I think those just have a little bit more style to them. I mean, these billet grills, they look okay, but I think they're just kind of an easy way to fill in a large space. I mean, it looks alright. I mean, I'll roll with it for a while until I have the money to change my mind. But all that's looking good. Another thing I did was when I had to replace this little piece of trim over here, it was real nice and shiny, but the rest of it was real dull. So I got a little buffer and got it all buffed out. Looks a lot better now. So that pretty much takes care of the front end for now. That's about all I got on that. Trying to think what else I've done. Actually, a while back, I actually put a new muffler on the truck. I forgot to mention that. I went with a Super 44. I was running a MagnaFlow. It was a one-in dual out. But now that I'm not driving the truck every day, I wanted something a little more aggressive sounding. So I went back with a, well, can't really see it too much. It's a Super 44 dual in, dual out. Took me forever to find one of these style mufflers. They're all one in, dual out. I pretty much had to go to the very bottom of the list on eBay and finally found a dual in, dual out. And I know some people, they think, well, why'd you just stick with a single muffler? Just go with true duals. Well, just at the time, it's all I could get, and I don't really care for the knockoffs. And the best thing is, somehow I managed to have an extra $100 in my PayPal account don't really remember where that extra $100 came from, but in the end it only cost me like $4 for the muffler, so I ain't complaining about that. Let's see, haven't really done much on the inside as far as interior wise goes, but I did do a little LED conversion with the gauges. Started out, my volt gauge quit working. Not really sure why. It was just working one day and then it just quit. I swapped it out and still didn't work. So apparently there's an issue somewhere I need to trace out. But I figured since I got to pull the whole dash apart to you know, check the gauge, well, might as well use that time to upgrade the gauges over to some LEDs. So when I had pulled it all apart, I actually painted the whole housing and the reflector piece that goes over the gauges, or the edges of them. I went ahead and shot them with some chrome spray paint, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Alright, so that's basically what I did with the gauges. So let's just check them out. It's still daylight, but I think you can actually still see them. So yeah, they actually light up pretty good. And painting the needles seemed to really help there. I didn't even want to bother with the clock because the little arms on there are actually cracked, so I didn't even want to touch those. But I finally got a good working clock. Figured I might as well put it in there just to have a, you know, the whole full shebang of gauges in here. Yeah, everything lights up good. So I went ahead and converted all my turn signals, idiot lights, converted all that over to some LEDs, and put the LED in the climate control. So it all looks good, especially at night. It looks really good. And I only paid like $6 for like 20 of them. So this is actually a pretty good investment. And I also converted my dome light over to an LED. So little by little, it's finally coming together. So honestly, that's about as far as I've gotten on this truck. Might be in the process of switching jobs, so don't really want to spend too much money on the truck right now. You know, that's why I'm just doing the small stuff at the moment. But anyways, that's all I really got. Oh wait, actually no, I have done something a little extra on the truck. I tried to do a little body work on it. I don't know if you guys remember, this was actually bubbled up pretty good, and eventually it just worked itself into a big ass hole. So tried to weld it in. Wasn't really the best job, but at least there's not an actual big hole there anymore. One of these days I'll finally get to the body work and do it right. But just a little something I had to do just to kind of keep me going on it. Been trying to hold off for the more major stuff, and doing that, it just feels like I'm not getting anywhere on it. So for the meantime, just going to be doing the little stuff here and there. But that's all I got. So hopefully I'll have a next one here pretty soon. So until then, thanks for watching.